Okay. So let me just copy this link here. Alrighty. Let's start the recording. Alright. Now, this is round 2 of starting this. Because the last run was plagued with errors, and luckily nobody had started watching it, so I just rebooted the entire thing because it was an utter mess. There were so many technical difficulties, and so it was just, for me, it felt easier to restart it. So anyway, this is chapter 6 of the Cataxians, and it is entitled Wonderwall. I wanted to obviously play off the meme, so as if the title of the video suggests. So anyway, let's we got a little bit into it, not very far. I think we got 2 lines as far as we got in the last attempt. So again, this is also a really long chapter, as you can see over here. So we're going to read as far as we can, and we'll bookmark wherever we leave off. I'm not sure we'll get through the whole thing tonight. So let us begin. I have to go back. Silas stood staring out the vaulting window of Jaren's apartment. Originally, I misspelled Jaren somehow. Erratic lighting flashed from the decrepit riftworks below, and I've had some weird formatting here, so staring. No. Ah, hey, look, Armley's back. Has it actually been here the whole time? It's just showing up in weird spots? Yeah, it's like showing off screen sometimes. It's very strange. Like hell you do. Jaren entered the living room. Shaking his head, Silas turned to find him holding a classical guitar. Its strap around his neck. I think there's supposed to be a semicolon there. What do you want to say about this? Well. Jaren put new battery. Oh, no! Ah, see, I originally had that he had a keyboard. But I really wanted to have him do this incredibly cliched thing of playing Wonderwall, so we switched to a classical guitar. It kind of makes a little bit more sense when he explains why he has the instrument. I think he might end up evolving into a keyboard at some point or some more electronic device because there's reasons why that would be more suitable to his situation. But he's playing a classical guitar for now. So, continuing. Care to serenade me? Jaren swayed over to the couch, falling onto it with all his weight. Jaren looked back down the hall from where he'd come. Might wake up Daniel and he sighed, the dog. A loud booming laugh burst from Silas' slender frame. They're so far gone, I'm sure the works could explode and they'd sleep right through it. Jaren's fingers began idly roaming across the strings. Haven't touched it since Mom died, so you might not get serenaded so much as a blown eardrum. Can you hear that? I have a cat on my bed and he's a little... No, he's just there. Okay, he's sleepy. Silas leaned back, arm stretched across the back of the couch, tendril wrapped in bandages hanging over his shoulder. Why is his tendril... Oh, because he got stung. Even I forgot. He got stung by the disinfectant spray in the Riftworks. Try me. Well, Jaren cleared his throat. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. There it is, the line. That's the only reason why I switched it from a keyboard to a guitar, was so I could put that line in and have the utterly cliched I don't even know, was it early 2000s? Yeah. Yeah, I grew up with that stupid thing of every guitarist of any skill, or well, bass entry skill or moderate skill, just trying to serenade people with Wonderwall, and that's fine. I actually do like the song, so we had to. Anyway, Sal snorted. After a few strokes, the sweet sound of music filled the room. It wasn't long before Jaren was completely absorbed in his performance, swaying side to side, a bounce in his step. Can you hear that? No, I have my system sounds off. Thank God. Instagram. Silas was riveted, edging closer to the edge of his cushion. There we go. Silas was riveted as he moved closer and closer to the edge of his cushion, his heart swelling in his chest, a fiery energy coursing through his veins. This feeling, what was it? Dude? You know what? I'm going to let Grammarly be right on that one. The mist swirled around Jaren. It danced around his every movement, glistening around him like a violet halo. It swished and swayed around his animated fingers, seemingly shaken by the sound coming from the guitar. More than once, Silas thought he'd seen his shape form in the mist, being displaced by music flying from Jaren's instrument. Seen a shape form in the mist, only to be... I have no idea if you heard that. Cat's making noises. Eyes shut as the music flowed forth, as if automated. Yeah. Get rid of that. Mist kept giving the illusion of creating some recognizable shape before it could take form. Jaren wound down. And I'm not going to sing that. Those are lyrics from the song. Question me if you want, but, you can always look it up yourself. I don't know that it needs to be centered, but that's what we're doing, so. The last note rang out and lingered in the air for a long, wistful moment. Opening his eyes, Jaren found Silas staring at him, a look of awe on his face. Jaren, he breathed. Yeah, he over the back of his neck. I'm really out of practice. He removed the strap from around his neck. The glint of something gold caught Silas's eye. Pointing it without a word, Jaren reached for his neck and the item that hung around it. His fingers traced down the fine chain to a simple gold cross. Ah, he laughed. I hung this up with the guitar when Mom died. She gave it to me. He held it in his hand, staring at it for a long moment, a gentle nostalgic grin on his lips. I see no reason not to wear it again. Don't have to listen to Dad preaching to me or yelling about practicing so. Jaren ran his fingers down the guitar. Why not reclaim what once made me happy? Silas grinned from ear to ear. What? Jaren laughed nervously. Oh, nothing. Silas walked up to him, pressing his hand into Jaren's chest. Just thinking about how lucky I am to have such an amazing boyfriend and wondering what I did to deserve him. Jaren puffed a short breath out his nose. You showed up and you stayed around. And here I was thinking it was my winning personality. That helped, Jaren shrugged. Leaning up on the tip of his toe, Silas placed his lips against Jaren's. Dropping his guitar to the floor, Jaren immediately melted into the moment. He wrapped his arms around Silas' shoulders, bringing him in as close as possible. Pale hands made their way up his ebony... I don't know. Not ebony. Sable. God. I hope that's okay. That's the terminology I prefer. I feel like ebony is A, overused B. Jaren's not quite that dark. That's okay. I probably shouldn't be making that differentiation, but I prefer using sable to describe him because that's actually one of my favorite colors, and I think I explained in the last video that I have kind of like an affinity for Sable, so I just love it, and I think that's good for him. And Silas's key only defining or descriptor is pale. That doesn't change much ever. He's just perpetually pale forever. I think he turns more of an undeadish gray at some point, but grayish green. But other than that, he's just pale. Caressing his neck and wrapping together. Let's start that over. Pale hands made their way up his sable skins, caressing his neck and wrapping together beneath his loose dreadlocks. There you go. Fingers pressing into his flesh. His hand traced down Silas's body, feeling every shallow bone, every awkward lump, all the way to the part he'd come to covet the most, and he no longer felt any shame in admitting it. One deep squeeze later, he lifted the smaller man into his arms. Jaren, a shrill laugh burst from his lungs. The few steps it took to move the couch were more than Jaren was willing to make. As soon as his leg came in contact with the cushion, he threw Silas onto it. Lying there, shirt pulled from his pants, exposing a strip of pale flesh, he stared at Jaren's hungry eyes. I think we're going to shift this to gaze, unless I see gaze anywhere else in the sentence. I don't think I did. Jaren, he could barely breathe. Look, Jaren panted. I'm only going as far as you're comfortable with. He took a deep breath. I want to try this. Then I have one rule. Silas nervously wove his fingers together. Please don't, He slid his hands down to his pelvis. Please don't, Jaren shook his head. I have no intentions of anything related to intercourse. I want you. Their eyes locked into passionate gazes. We don't need all that extra passionately. This is a very good pass, because I do shit like that all the time, as you've probably been recorded. Silas opened his arms and legs. Come here. He's such a sore. With a guttural growl, Jaren did as he was told. No, this does not get that sexual or anything like that. This actually gets cut off pretty... I think it gets cut off pretty soon. Like, real blue balling, but that's okay. For future reference, there would be some sequences that would lead to interactions of sorts, and I do write those out, and those would appear on the Patreon. There is a Patreon. I have one supporter, and I'm so grateful. But yeah, if you're interested in some heated stuff that goes all the way, that's where you'll find that. Excuse me. With a guttural growl, Jaren did as he was told, sliding over the armrest. Onto the couch, I believe. See, I wonder where that's showing up. It's obviously showing up somewhere. I just don't know where. Pretty sure it wants to make this one word. I'll have to troubleshoot that at some point. He pressed himself against Silas's frail frame. Hands wove into each other's hair, legs wrapped tightly. A rhythm formed between them. I have no idea what I'm doing. Silas put a finger to Jaren's lips. It's fine. Just don't stop. It's fine, don't stop. Jaren's breath was hot and heavy against Silas's neck. Wrapping his thin fingers around the base of Jaren's head, he pulled his body against his own until nothing but their clothes were between them. Without a thought, Jaren slid his hand up Silas's shirt. Everything came to a grinding halt when he felt the raised scars from a poorly executed surgery. Silas knew exactly what had happened. Heated shame washed over him. Jaren's fingers traced the scars. Does it hurt? Silas bit his lip. To be honest, I have no feeling anywhere around there. Sigh. Silas forced a nervous, awkward laugh. Hey, shit happens when you're desperate, broke, and being ridden by your significant other. He tried to sit up. Maybe his eyes were on fire. Maybe we can try this again if ever I'm whole. Jaren made no attempt to sit up or remove his body from Silas's. His hands remained on the scars, probably longer than he should have. Silas lifted his shirt the rest of the way, revealing the mangled mess his chest had become. Jesus Christ, sigh. It's bad, I know. His own gaze remained fixated on Jaren's gauging his reaction. It was more than scars, loose slabs of poorly tucked skin, rough, uneven, wandering stitches. I'm not going to put that. We're going to go ahead and put a comma there. Whoever had done this clearly had no idea what they were doing or just didn't care. Silas's voice shook. I'm disgusting. It's okay. He pulled his shirt down over Jaren's hands. I know, I should have told you. Jaren sat up on his knees, his weight on Silas's hips. How did that happen? Silas tried to sit up again, but Jaren's weight kept him down. I was in a rush. A hurry. She wanted me to be... Silas covered his face with his hands. She wanted me to be as masculine as possible without losing fertility before we did the Daniel thing. Sigh. Yeah, yeah. I really thought we were gonna go to a clinic, Jer. He forced a laugh. I really thought we were gonna go to a doctor to get a donor. I believed her. I believed her. She said the sooner I was a man, the sooner I'd have a child I wanted so badly. Jaren suddenly became horrifically aware of Silas's past. Silas, look. He rolled off the couch. I'm sorry. Silas pulled his hands away from his face, revealing a broken smile. Don't be sorry, Jaren. I understand. Understand what? He finally managed to sit up. That I'm undesirable. What? Mutilated and used. A dark laugh burst from the broken fragments of his core. Silas, no. Jaren sat down on the couch beside him. No, please. Poke! Please don't think that way. How can I be a man if the only sex I've ever had? His voice wavered as he stared at his shaking hands. Wasn't my choice. Silas, I'm filth, he laughed. All of a sudden, the memory of why he was here in this moment snapped him out of his own misery. But I'm here for you, he turned to Jaren, a beaming grin on his lips. If you'd still have me as a friend, is that what you want? Silas nodded. Daniel really likes you, and you're an amazing friend. I'd really like to not lose you over this. Over what? Jaren, Silas laughed. Your dad just died, and I'm here crying about my decrepit body. He folded his arms across his chest. I'm here for you, Jaren. A long, painful silence filled the room. I should go get Daniel and get going home. Silas stood up, his tendril flopping down lifelessly behind him. Jaren couldn't find words. Instead, he watched in silence as Silas made his way down the hall to the guest bedroom. I think you want a comma there. Yep. I'm good at guessing what Grammarly wants, but I really wish Grammarly would just tell me what it wants. I do have another screen open. Hold on, I want to check something. If I open just a blank screen, if I go over here, is it showing up here? No. Okay, it's just not showing up. That's fine. Opening the door slowly, he found his son fast asleep in the dark room. It is not a dark room, it's a dark room. The strange creature that was 9 laid on the floor beside the bed. With a heavy sigh, Silas entered the room. Now, I don't know if it was the last chapter that we named 9, but that's been retconned out. I've removed the naming of 9 because there's a whole connective piece that has to happen, and that's where his name's going to come from. There's going to be like 2 things coming together in the upcoming chapter, the one that's in progress, not the one that's posting now, the one that I'm writing that I need to finish up pretty quickly because I've only got 1 more week to start scheduling it. It's about halfway. I should be able to at least get 2 parts divvied up and put up for scheduling. Yeah, it's a bit of a callback to the original series, so I wanted to keep it. And so we have retconned. His name is Quip at the end of the day, but he's currently 9. He's still 9. He's still carrying 9. The way that happened was basically Jaren was just too tired to come up with a name. I don't think that's in here. Jaren was too tired to come up with a name, and he was really upset still about his dad. And even though he was trying to just have a good time and a light, 9 said it was okay if he stayed 9, so everybody just accepted that and left it at that. So he doesn't have a name right now. He might have a name later. Well, he does, obviously. His name will be Quip. But, yeah, so that's what happened. Anyway, continuing on. Opening the door slowly, he found his son fast, laid on the floor beside the bed. With a heavy sigh, Silas entered the room. Jaren's heart began racing. He had to do something, but what? All he knew was that if he did nothing, he'd lose Silas forever. The soft murmuring of Daniel waking up drifted down the hall. Jaren was on his feet, heading down. Is that a one-word thing? Is living room? Yo, that's the control key. Jaren was on his feet, heading down the hall before he even... Oh, yep, we want 2 words. That's good. I approve of that. Come on, Dan. Let's get you home and in your own bed. Dad, what's going on? Daniel grogged, still mostly unconscious. I'm not... Just smiled. I'm done playing games, Daniel. He chuckled. I'm not your dad, and you know that. Now come. He wrapped his arms around his son, lifting him from the bed. Let's go home. Son in his arms. His son in his arms. He turned to find Jaren standing in the doorway. I'm sorry, he whispered. I led you on. I messed up. I'm still learning. Maybe next time I'll get it right. He moved to press past Jaren, but his towering body refused to budge. Jaren, please, I have to go home. I have to take care of my son. I have to try to be a good parent, even though I'm not. Even though I'm insane and insensitive and deformed and violated. And... there we go. That's better. Silas. All of that was more than worth having Daniel in my life. Silas smiled in the darkness. He means everything to me. Oh my god, why is my eye hurting so much? I'm pretty sure I have a tissue somewhere. Oh, here we go. Nope. That's holding something. One moment. It's not like I was messing around with my eye. It just started burning randomly. Silas, who am I kidding? He sighed. I made up that name. He ran his fingers through his son's hair. I'm a lie. Sigh. Jaren, my name is... Jaren pressed a finger to Silas's lips. It's Silas. Silas shook his head. No, you see, that's the name I wish I had. The Riftworks promised a new life, a new brilliant future. I thought I could be Silas here, but I can't. I'm not. I'm just a lie. Jaren's mind raced. He knew Silas's birth name, but it was never something he'd ever use. It wasn't his name. He didn't even want to hear it. His mind shut down to such a degree that he could barely feel himself reaching out, tearing Daniel away from Silas's arms. I'm reading a little fast. A violet fire ignited in Silas's eyes. Baring his teeth, he spat purple smoke from his vicious sneer. Energy coursed through his veins, brilliant amethyst. A brilliant amethyst light shot between his fingers. Unhand my child. Daniel woke up, confused and disoriented in Jaren's arms. Unhand him. Silas raised his hands, ready to lunge for Jaren's throat. Shaking his head, Daniel motioned for Jaren to put him down. Once he was on his feet, Daniel ran up to his father, wrapping his arms around him. I may not be the parent he needs or deserves, but I am the one he has. Do not take him from me. I'm right here, Dad, Daniel breathed, pressing his face into Silas's chest. No one's taking me away. Slowly, the lightning in his hands died down, and the flames in his eyes receded. His gaze wandered around aimlessly before Silas Sinclair collapsed onto the hardwood floor. Break 1. Not bad. Where are we at? I don't even know. Hey, 25 minutes in. Not bad. Or 30 minutes in. Ish. I have no idea what that clock on, where that clock on YouTube sits with where I am in real life. So it shows 25 minutes, or 24 and change, so. That's a 27. The hell? Alright, whatever. Continuing on. Jaren and Daniel sat on the couch in morbid silence. It took both their strength to move Silas into Jaren's room. He was surprisingly heavy for someone so devoid of any mass. The man relocated to the floor beside Silas. I can't lose your dad, too. Jaren could barely speak, though he managed to break the sounds. What happened? Daniel turned to him, his gaze still blank. Jaren sighed. Ay, he laughed. Ay, adult stuff? You guys have sex? Daniel! Jaren recoiled. What? It happens. People love each other and they do the do. Pretty normal if you ask me, Daniel laughed. But that's not it, is it? Jaren sighed deeply, his entire body sagging on the couch. I touched his scars. Oh, Daniel immediately understood. Yeah. He rubbed the back of his neck. Dad kind of loses his shit when he becomes hyper aware of himself. I was feeling you want a hyphen. He thinks I don't love him anymore. Daniel shook his head. He doesn't actually think that. Here, I'll give you a dad-related tip. He's very insecure. Very. I mean, freak out over pimples, but he's got scars he can't really hide. I freak out over pimples, but he's got scars he can't really hide. Pimples go away. Scars don't. His mind wandered a bit, cutting through his thoughts before they reached their inevitable end. He turned to Jaren once more. You're not going to be able to make him not... You're not going to be able to not make him self-conscious. He loves you, Jared, but he also hates himself for a lot of reasons. Jaren rested his head in his hands. Look, I wouldn't blame you if you decided we're too much work. It's okay, really. I wouldn't hold it against you. You just lost your own father, for God's sake. I think Daniel might still be... I think that might be more Daniel's speed. And see, would I end up mathing out his age? I still haven't mathed out his age yet. I've got like a whole column of notes from the last stream and beyond of me trying to math out Daniel's age up to yesterday. So I gotta nail that one down. But yeah. He might end up being 10 in this, or he could be 15 in the next chapter, 13 here, 15 there. 15's not a bad age. It's a tough age. Anyway, continuing on. This is all too much for you, and that's okay. Everyone has their limits. Jaren turned his head just enough that a single eye peered around his clasped hands. You said you had a tip? Well, you didn't hear from me, but when he gets like this, I suggest closing the gap. Closing the gap? Daniel nodded. He's gonna do a rapid escape maneuver. He'll start pushing away mentally and physically. He'll start rejecting rationality and feelings and stuff. He'll just dive off into oblivion and expect you to let him go. My suggestion, hold him tighter. We're gonna just make that one word. Don't. Against his will? I guess we do need to hold him tighter there. Is there an undo boot? Against his will, Jaren leaned back on the couch. Daniel sighed. There's a very big difference between being restrained by someone you love for fear of hurting yourself and being restrained against your will in a situation you have no control over. So you know. Yeah, Daniel forced a laugh. Izzy used to use it against me all the time, to try to drive Dad and I apart. Her name was originally something else, but I have a friend with that name now, so I didn't really feel comfortable continuing with that name. So she'd be. I asked another friend. I said, "What's the most white woman, Valley Girl, obnoxious name you can think of?" And they came up with Isabel. I don't know why. And so her name is Isabel, and she gets called Izzy 90% of the time. That's just how it is now. I'm not sure I'm 100% keen on it, but it's been written. It's been brought up enough and written into canon enough that I think it's probably going to just stay that way. So Izzy used to use it against me all the time to try to drive Dad and I apart. And before you ask, yeah, I did think about it a lot. Yeah, it did fuck me up. But you know what? Jaren turned to face him. Dad never let me go, so how could I let him go? Jaren's gaze drifted to his hands, ringing idly in his lap. You can ask, it's okay, Daniel chuckled, if you know the question. Back when Izzy first told me I was I'm not going to say that word, but because YouTube, baby, I didn't get it. I really didn't understand. But then... Sorry about that. I didn't get it. I really didn't understand. But then she'd repeat it over and over, getting more and more graphic. I'd see Dad visibly dying inside, and, well, it took some time. But I understood, and, man, the guilt, he forced to laugh. I don't know if that's always going to be. I know there's always going to be a rift between us. I know he sees me sometimes and remembers what he went through, and I see him sometimes and I remember the hell I put him through. Can I say something? Jaren sat upright. Daniel laughed in earnest. Sure. I've talked to your dad about this. He got very dark once, and when you guys first moved in. He said a lot of things I think he really regrets saying, but he said them anyway, which meant when he was sober, we would have to talk. Whoa. He got drunk once when you guys first moved in. He said a lot of things I think he really regrets saying, but he said them anyway, which meant when he was sober, we had to have a talk. Anyway, I feel like you should know from an outside source that when he says he loves you, he means it unconditionally. Daniel smiled. I know he does, and he knows I love him too. But there's still that gut unavoidable reaction we have to each other once in a while. It sucks. Do you think that's something you two could ever heal from? And I think if Izzy hadn't made it a point of conflict, it would have been something we could have bonded over. But man, did she play us like fiddles. We were fed guilt, shame, regret, and we both ate it up. Me because I was a little kid and I didn't get it. Dad because he was utterly broken. So instead of it being an obstacle we worked to overcome, it became this ingrained sense of revulsion. No. Did I spell revulsion wrong? I'm gonna check that real quick. I think I made up a word. Hmm. We're gonna get rid of that word anyway, because I don't think that's really something in a 13-year-old's. Not much of what Daniel says is really in a 13-year-old's dialogue, but you know, he's again a little beyond his years. No, it became this. We didn't hate each other. We'll never hate each other, but it fed into that small divide between us. Sometimes it gets really deep and I lose him. Daniel stared at his reflection in the TV across the room. He crashes and burns, and I have to put him back together. That's a lot for a kid your age. Daniel shrugged. I think you understand. Jaren nodded with a sigh. Look, never question the fact that we love each other. We do. I love Dad and he loves me. We're all we have. No offense, Jer. But with all the shit we've been through, yeah. Jaren snorted in disgust. None of that shit should have happened to either of you. Not have happened to either of you. But it did. And there's no way around it. Dad and I, we only just got away. We're still learning how to be normal. You're doing a great job, Jaren smiled. Daniel's gaze drifted down the hall. It's gotten harder since Kitex came around. Jaren shook his head. Your dad trusts that thing. I don't think he has a choice. You really believe that? Jaren turned to fully face him. I actually do. For some reason, he sighed. I also don't really think Kitex is what you'd call evil. The more I think about the other day with Dad on the floor and Kitex screaming at us, the more I realize he was scared and confused. So you're giving a parasite taking control of your father's body the benefit of the doubt? I didn't say I like the situation. I didn't say I'm okay with it. I still have these flashes of that alien stare in my father's eyes. He's dead. Did. Not yet. Dad's eyes. But Daniel sighed again. We were all scared. All of us, including Kitex. Jaren settled back on his side of the couch. I mean, I wish I could talk to him before he does whatever he's going to do to Dad. Get a better feel for him. You know you can ask to talk to him, right? Dad? No, Jaren laughed. Kytax, really? Wouldn't that scare Dad? I really don't know how your father feels, Dan. He acts tough, but he looked down the hall at the closed door to his room. I think we know damn well he's not taking any of this very well. I mean, if he... Whoops, that's not a let us. That's a... If he lets Kytax talk to us, I'd talk. But I'm not going to ask to talk to him or put Dad in some uncomfortable situation. Things are already really tough. I don't want to make them any worse. The door to the bedroom creaked open. Pro tip, Daniel whispered hurriedly. Don't let him go home tonight. Jaren nodded briskly as a disheveled Silas appeared in the hall. I think it's telling me I'm repeating. What? Did I get that right? I'm gonna check real quick. Ah, mussels, ew. My grandmother loved mussels. There you go. I don't think you can use that as an adjective. I might have forced it into an adjective. So, I put that C back in there. I apparently can't spell it for crap. Okay, so Jaren briskly, nodded briskly as a wary smile appeared in the hall with disheveled hair and sleep still in his eyes. Hey, he choked. Jaren stood up. Okay, he didn't stand up. Jaren stood up slowly. Hey, Sai. A cringe pulled across the corner of Silas's lips. Come on, Daniel. He put his hands out. Let's go home. Glancing at Jaren, Daniel got to his feet. You sure, Dad? Silas nodded, a weak smile on his lips. Glancing at once more at Jaren, Daniel gave a defeated sigh. Taking his father's hand, they began making their way down the stairs. Wait! Daniel turned to find Jaren standing at the top of the stairs, arms outstretched. Wait, Sai, please. Please listen to me. I think I want a hyphen here. Silas froze mid-step. You know, it's kind of funny. I just got done praising Grammarly as being, like, awesome, and it's, like, completely broken right now. So that's a little upsetting. Maybe they're gonna force me. I mean, I'll get rid of it if they're really gonna. Well, if I have to pay for premium to get the word processing again, I'll just remove it. But hopefully that'll get fixed. According to this, it should be working. I'll submit a ticket or look something up. Silas froze mid-step. Didn't I ask you to let me tell you when I was uncomfortable with something? See, the comma's there, not for grammar, but for cadence, but... Let me tell you when I was uncomfortable with something? Silas turned to him slowly. Look, Jaren stepped down a few stairs. I can't say I understand where you're coming from. Your struggles are yours and yours alone. Silas scoffed, but that doesn't mean, he took a few more steps, that I can't be there for you when you need me, like you're there for me when I need you. Jaren, Silas turned away. There's a difference. You're a good man with a lot of love in your heart. I'm a mutilated fraud. There's a big difference. Before Silas could take another step, Jaren lunged forward, taking hold of his free arm. Whoa, lunged forward, taking hold of his free arm. Silas sin fucking glare. Jaren yanked his arm. I told you. Let me speak for me. Stop assuming the worst. A moment of still silence passed. The thing is, Silas finally spoke up after clearing his throat. It's not you, Jaren. He turned to him. It's me. It's all me. And my fucked up head. I probably shouldn't be saying the F word. It's okay. It's not like I'm hunting for monetization or anything like that. The ups, the downs, the confidence, the weakness, it all comes and goes. It's me. It's not you, and I'm not that detached to think it was. Think it is. Jaren's grip loosened a bit. I know you want to help, but he sighed, I can't let myself admit I need it. Silas, look. Jaren's grip tightened again. Please, just trust me. And no, there is nothing about you that could possibly... There is nothing about you or anything you could possibly do to make me want to give up on you, us. Silas. Jaren reached out with, wow, that actually, whoa. That made me flash forwards. Oh, crap. That's actually really good. That's a good line to have there. Silas. Jaren reached out with his other arm, turning Silas to face him on the stairs. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Silas cringed again. I mean it. Jaren tugged on his arm. Now please, come back upstairs. I'll fix us some tea and sandwiches. You like that, right? A broad smile slowly made its way across Silas's lips. I'm a lot of work, aren't I? Jaren shook his head. Relationships in general are a lot of work. Oh my god. Relationships in general are a lot of, there we go, work. And you are no more work than I'm willing to put into us. In fact, Jaren chuckled, I haven't even hit a breaking point yet. The idea of being without you hasn't once crossed my mind. I'm here, Sai. I'm here for the long haul. I promise you. One moment. Okay. I'm here, Sai. I'm here for the long haul. I promise you. Jer, will you two just shut up and... already? Daniel! Jaren and Silas both bellowed. The boy shrugged. I'm just getting into the whole puberty thing, but I know sexual tension when I see it. Silas pinched the bridge of his nose. I'm unplugging your internet. That's not how it works, Dad. Daniel pressed past them. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going back to bed. Try not to be too loud, okay? Once they heard the door to the guest bedroom click shut, they laughed nervously to themselves. I'm so sorry, Silas sighed. Don't be. I like that kid. Jaren cracked a smile. A lot. With a sigh, Silas tried to pull his arm from Jaren's grip. Not so fast. Jaren lifted him into his arms. You're lighter than before. Before? Yeah, when I scared you. Scared me? I think you thought I was going to take Dan away. Silas's brows furrowed. I don't remember that. All I remember was seeing you in the doorway and blacking out. Kaitax? Oof, I have weird inflections with that name. Silas thought a moment. Maybe, but I can usually tell when it's him. I don't typically pass out. I can feel him coming. Jaren sighed. Lifting Silas higher into his arms, he carried him down the stairs. Tea and sandwiches? Jaren leaned forward, wrapping his tired arms around Jaren's neck. Tea and sandwiches. After sharing a pot of tea and Silas devouring several sandwich portions, they settled in for an old black and white movie on cable. Jaren dozed off as Silas fell asleep leaning on him. The sound of disproportionately loud modern commercials startled him awake. Jumping to his feet, Jaren threw himself across the room to turn the television off. I think my soul just tried to leave my body, Jaren panted as he slowly returned to the couch. Silas sat, still bleary-eyed, trying to figure out what had just happened. I don't think the hat needs to be there. Jaren smiled as he reached down to lift him into his arms. Come on, let's go to bed. My room? Share a bed? Silas... I'm going to say that mumbled. Mumbled as his arms hanging limply over Jaren's shoulders. If that's okay with you. Silas leaned... away a bit. With my gross chest... Jaren gave a gentle chuckle. Your chest isn't gross, Sai. It's you. And in case you've forgotten, I love you. Silas leaned against Jaren once more. I love you too. Oh. Hold on, I gotta load up the site real quick. For some reason, always wants to go .wordpress.com. That's the old address that... Well, that'll take you there too, honestly. There's a lot of clicks to get in, but that might be too much. We're on chapter 6. Wonderwall. I just want to check something really quick. Where did that chapter start? Okay. Hello? Oh, that's right, because it's on another page. It's on like page 3 now. So we're going to go to page 3. Okay, well, it's not here. That's good. Let me go to page 2, make sure it's on the bottom of page 2. I think I cleaned up this chapter a bit. Sorry, it's a bit... Yeah, okay, it's clean. The thing was, I thought I saw, like, minor indentations here. What happens is when one of my old chapter divide images gets left behind, it doesn't show up here. Because it was transferred in from another... from when I went from the block format to the old format, a lot of stuff got kind of lost. You can really only see it in the HTML. I'm not scrolling back up to the top to open HTML mode. But when I feel like there's a weird line... indentation, that tends to tell me there's something up and I should look at it, but there's nothing wrong, so we're good. It's coming, isn't it? Kaitak sat behind him, resting on a tendril. Whether you wanted to or not, I'm sorry, Silas, but you have been placed at the center of something no mortal should have to concern themselves with. Silas stared out into the nothingness that surrounded them, arms folded across his chest. There's nothing I can do, is there? However, I didn't fix this stuff. Oops, no. It's okay. I have to manually put it in anyway. Kaitak sighed, standing up from his self-wrought seat. I mean, the idea is he literally folded the seat out of his body, so, you know, his own tentacles became the seat. I beg you to trust me. We both have nothing to lose and everything to gain if we work together. Silas turned to him. Kaitak's worthy his ideal body, but his eyes were disturbingly inhuman. Silas smiled, unfolding his arms. One last attempt to sway me, he motioned toward Kaitak. Yes, but also, you like this form. You find it pleasing, do you not? Silas sighed. Not really when it's someone else. I see. As Kaitak shifted into a slender tendril, wrought... I must have liked the word wrought. Devoid of anything that clearly resembled a face. Silas shook his head with a smile until he suddenly became aware of his weight shifting. Looking down, he realized he was himself again. Patting his belly, he made his smile became an uncontrollable grin. I want what is best for both of us. Why? Silas's voice had dropped to a sensibly masculine timbre. Have I not made my intentions clear? What is best for you is best for me. Do not mistake my actions for pure altruism. I have much to gain from appeasing you. Keep appeasing. Silas ran his fingers through his hair. It's working. This pleases me. So give me a hint. Silas began circling Kaitak's. How is this going to work? A tendril raised toward Kaitak's mouth could have been. I can only be certain of so much. Lay it on me, Silas continued circling. Well, when the proverbial fecal matter hits the oscillating wind turbine, I would ask that you do your best to make for the rift, as your kind has come to call it. What then? What I know of the void comes from my captors. It is an uninhabitable place for mortals. Those who enter those who enter its pure state perish instantly. Well, that doesn't sound very good. Silas paused mid-step. There is a chance. This is where chance comes into play. If all goes according to plan, you will never actually enter the void. Instead, you will be transported to the world of my imprisonment. Kaitak, what are the chances that won't happen? What are the chances that won't happen? My eyes skipped down a line. Kaitak shrugged. I have no way to determine those odds. So this is a 100% blind tactic. I'm going to change that word to... The tendril sagged a bit. It is the only approach we have. I'm sorry, it is not ideal. So 50-50, Henley mauls me to death, then another 50-50, I end up lost in the void. That sounds a bit... That sums it up a bit, yeah? That sums it up, yeah? Silas winced as he tried to calculate his odds of survival on his fingertips. That is my best guess, though I believe you have a much better chance of escaping the man in yellow. It is what happens next that I can only speculate. Oh, but there's one other path, Silas remembered what Henley had said. He offered to remove you from my head. No question mark. The tendrils that were Kaitax stood up rigidly straight. Oh, I see. The link can be broken. So that's an option, I suppose. Ah, yes. Yes, it is. We don't want a comma there. The tendril slumped over once more. You will do what is right for you, then. The silence filled the darkness. Though Kaitax had no eyes, Silas could tell he was in a state of confusion, weighing his options. If I decided to do that, what would you do? Kaitax's arms wove themselves together. Oops. Oh my god. No, sorry. I was trying to highlight this. Kaitax's arms wove themselves together. I would wait and hope another mortal would come along to consider my plight. You wouldn't force me to come to you? I do not think I would have power to do so once you were in the man in yellow's domain. Silence returned. Let me ask you something, Kaitax. Of course. What do we do if all this works out? Kaitax's tendrils wove themselves to get tighter. I have not thought beyond being free of this place. What if I decided to use the powers you gave me to fight Henley? Kaitax shrugged. I doubt whatever I have left is enough to face him and survive. Let me get rid of that ellipses. Silas started pacing again. But would you care if I tried? I would worry for our safety, but it is up to you how you use what we become. Kaitax sighed. I know from my captors that the void was once my home. I do not remember it, so I have no love for it. I know I am still tied to it in some way, as my growing distance from it has led to my decline. At least, that is what the Brotherhood told me. I do not know for certain. You don't have any allegiances I'd be stuck with? There is one person in my existence I would ask you to protect. Just one? Kaitax. Oh, no! Come here. Come here, notebookeries. What chapter is this? Chapter 6. I made a plot error that's going to have to get mended a bit. See, for some reason, oops, almost wrote 2019. For some reason, like 2 chapters later, sorry is a surprise. Although, I'm going to have to read a little more context, because it might be the aspect of her coming with Silas is the surprise. Not so much the fact that she exists at all is the surprise. I mentioned her in passing some time ago. The one who is like you. Her name is Sari. She has been a loyal servant since the beginning. I wish to release her from my charge, but she will need help adjusting to a new life. So, just her? Yeah. The tendrils nodded once more. Sari is all I care about. I promised her freedom when I found my own. She's been bound to me for millennia. Unlike her brethren, she remains whole and intact. You must honor my pact with her even after I release her from my charge. Silas pursed his lips. And what kind of person is she? Does it matter? Not really. Silas shrugged. I'm just curious. She is Kaitaxian. Silent as the empty halls of her world, but deadly as an extension of my will. She is honorable and kind once she establishes trust, something she seldom found here. which is why we are bound to which is why we bound ourselves, so we could both survive this hell. Couldn't you have just used her to be freed? The tendril swayed nervously. I thought with the death of her people that their shackles on me would be broken. They're all gone now, and the pinions of their malice remain intact. By then, Sari had transcended mortal consciousness. She, by her own willful evolution, had become a very powerful spawn. Kaitek sighed. I could no longer ask her to be my vessel, and to be honest, I would not want her to sacrifice all she had fought for in my name. Alright, hold on, I gotta write that down. That's another error I think I made. I'm just writing this whole down, because that's part of what this run is all about. Is catching up on any weird what do you call it? Continuity. Thank you. Continuity issues. So, that might be one. So, I either have to come back here and fix this. I think that spawn part is going to get removed because she's not a spawn. She's just incredibly powerful. Alright. Okay. Alright, we're gonna get rid of that. Just crossing that off. Alright, so we're actually gonna move Sari is... And we're actually going to change, because that's dumb creature to being. She's not a creature, she's a person. Being steeped in the void's energy. Okay, we're actually going to change this. Brant. She freed herself from her mortal restraints and rose above those who would have destroyed her ages ago. High-Tech sighed. I could never ask her to give up all she had become and fought for. But I'm the right candidate. Sorry I had nothing to gain from joining. Has nothing to gain from joining with me. She was already transcended the limitations of my gift to her. She was satisfied with her life, for the most part, so I had nothing to offer her. But you want something both of us want. And what is that? Salas chuckled. Freedom. Salas nodded slowly. Honoring my pact with Sari is all I ask of you. She can be difficult to work with as a mortal, but once I release her from our binding, she will need help adjusting to change. I'll do my best, Sal sighed, but I'm not exactly the most well-adjusted person on this planet. Boom. So this is the big one we have to contend with. Silas knows about... Sorry. Oh my god, my pen's running out of ink. Dang, I've had this one a while. It's a purple Sharpie. We're really packing this first page of this notebook. That's cool. Okay, so that's important. She is like you, so I believe you will find you have more in common than you think. No reason for ellipses there. You keep saying that. I abuse the ellipses a lot, but that's because for some reason in my mind I'm thinking like speech patterns more than what is grammatically correct. So I could see where people be like, can you cut those out? And I'll just be like, but the pause, they're trailing off. Meh. Okay. You keep saying that. How is she like me? Kaitax nodded. Ugh. It is complicated and comes from the Cataxian culture. So you're not going to explain it to me? As your mortal companion once told me, it is not my place to speak for you, just as it is not my place to speak for her. That is a very good answer. Silas smiled broadly. You will meet her should you arrive on Cataxia intact. Silas rubbed the stubble on his chin. Cataxia, Cataxians, Kaitax. Kaitax sighed deeply. I'm noticing a pattern. I can assure you I had nothing to do with it. Not directly or by my own will, at least. You're not going to explain that one to me either, then? The tendrils where Kaitax's face would have been curved upwards to form a smile. Come visit for a spell, and I'll tell you everything you could ever want to know. The dream began fading around them as one or both of them began regaining consciousness. One more thing, Silas called as the distance between them drew wider and filled with the darkness. Will I still be myself? You are not the body in which you reside. You are the thoughts that form in your mind. The energy of your being will remain. You, as Silas Sinclair, will, and all the memories that make you who you are will endure. Good, Silas shouted into the darkness as he felt himself waking up. Okay, see, you can't see my finger, but these reds here, this red here, this tells me there's something up. So we're going to go to page 4, and I think we're going to find, okay. Hey, well, it's clean, I guess. Okay. Hey. We're okay. I don't know what this is about then. Do I have to... Is it gone? To just putting my mouse there end it? I guess. So we're like... Where are we at? I can't quite tell where we are. We're at this far. Wait, there we go. We're at this far. It might be a good place to stop considering we've already been at it an hour. Let's see how far this is. It's not quite half. Yo, let me grab. Bleh. Bleh. So we got 5,711 words in. That's not terrible. So we might just call this one part 1. And I think this is a fair place to start. It's almost midnight. I'm going to see if I can starting these a little earlier. I keep either missing 10 o'clock or I either start like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, 10:30. There's like an hour window when these start. I think I'm going to work on nailing that down. I might even try to make it a little earlier. Things are changing around here. It's not great. Things are not great, but it is what it is. So we're going to call it here. Sal's still on the sidewalk. And we're going to update so we don't lose what we did fix. Very good. And I'm actually going to make a note of where we left off. Ugh. Couldn't make a K. I believe that's page 4. Okay, my handwriting's gotten really bad. Alright, so we're just going to circle that. And as we read, we're going to have to fix some things. There's a few things I need to read. Especially the sorry thing. You know, I think I know how I'm going to twist that so I don't have to change it as much. That's fine. I can admit it'd be like that into working anyway. So, our place is marked. We have updated. View post. No, we're not going to bother with that. Yeah. So, got halfway. 5,000 words. That's not quite as good as the last few, but hey, we started late. So, tomorrow we will resume and we will be finishing up chapter 6 Wonderwall, I hope. And then after that, we got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 5 more chapters. And then we're done with Violet Prelude. After that, we can move on to Emerald Adagio. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to approach those. But honestly, these edits might catch up to that. How that's posting. So that's fine because I've got other content in mind for when that happens. But we got to get through this first. Because I figure this, as soon as I get through this, I think I've said this before, I can potentially think about sending it to a real deal editor. It's a lot of words though, so I'm terrified of that bill. I might not even do that. I can't really afford it right now. I can afford to, but if I see, that's where I'm hung up on it. I want to publish it. I self-publish it. And I know I can do that for relatively inexpensive. And that was probably what I was going to do with my stimulus check. You know, that money. It's supposed to show up in my bank account tomorrow. Great. Cool. Woo. I for some reason really thought I'd be one of those people that got missed or whatever, but I didn't. So, I was going to spend a bit of that on self-publishing a couple copies of the story. And I was thinking about listing it on Amazon as well. Figuring out how to do that, which is probably going to be a fiasco because I've heard mixed interactions with getting a story listed on Amazon. I mean, obviously those would be paid, and obviously a physical copy would be paid. It's always going to be free on the site. I'm never going to charge for the site. I keep thinking maybe I should start, paywalling, like giving you X amount of words in the paywall. And I read a story like that. Actually, the one account I looked up to on Instagram, I actually haven't seen in a long time. In fact, I actually was just on my account. I didn't even see them in my followed area because I know I'm following them, and I know I didn't unfollow them because they were kind of the account that inspired me to start doing spreads. And mind you, their spreads were fantastic. This account was called Miracle Saga. I don't think that was the name of the handle, though. I think the handle was the author's name, and it was called Miracle Saga. And their Instagram spreads were so incredibly aesthetically pleasing, unlike mine. It would be 9 or 12 or 6, 9, 12 slides, and it would be a conglomerate image. I mean, they were pretty stark with some shocks of color, and they'd have quotes where there wasn't imagery, and I really, really liked that approach. And I kind of wanted to see, because they're doing something similar to me. They're writing a web series. They're writing a story and posting it online. And I don't know what system they were using. I think it might have just been their site, and they managed to key it up to put a limitation on it. But when you went to read the first few pages of a chapter, I put pages in quotes because, again, it's I was doing it on my phone, so I don't really know what it would look like on the computer. It paywalled you. It asked if you want to donate some money. I think it said maybe $1. I'm like, that's really not bad at all, but at the same time, at that point, I really couldn't do $1. Yeah, those were some dark days. Now I'm back to not being able to really do $1, but anyway, I'd be more willing to now, or I'd be more willing to throw the $1, but I couldn't back then. I couldn't do it. I know $1, right? But, you know, when you're living literally paycheck to paycheck and hitting zero every month to pay your bills, a dollar makes or breaks some things. So I got a little far away from my mic, but and I thought, you know, that's a really good way. You give the front the bulk, like probably half the chapter where something was up front and then the other half was after a dollar. That's really not unreasonable. And I said maybe I should do something like that too. And first of all, they had a lot more followers, but they also had a lot more aesthetic going on. I stole some of their tags too. Like one of my tag loadouts was literally stolen from one of their posts on Instagram because I was like, they're doing really well. But then I also kind of had to remind myself that they are they were much more aesthetically cleaner than me. I think at some point, I'm gonna have to get really stark with my Instagram because there's a bookmark right there and I didn't use it. This is my Instagram. I've showed it before. It is a lot. There's a lot going on. A lot of imagery. And I feel like I'm better off with starker things like this than this. I picked a weird icon and I keep using it. That's the imagery that I chose to use for the arc. Yeah, that's dark. Oh, I put tags on it this time. I don't usually tag the center one because there's no content. These were posted late. I used Planoly to schedule and Planoly lost my posts for the entire day. So these were posted very late, but that's okay. So see how there's a lot of, it's not clear. I mean, you can read it. It's not like it's not clear to read when you blow it up, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of detail in it. And what I realized from Instagram is if you're not actually drawing a piece or making art, you're going to want to be as simplistic as possible. So I've got a few more world building spreads, I'm calling them. They're the ones like this. They're kind of like weirdly, you know, you can tell what's going on there. And I got a few more of those I got to get out, but I'm also going to start putting together some more Spartan posts. The problem is I don't want it to look like it's lazy, but at the same time I want it to be clean. I want the content to be there, and I want it to be very clean. Like I don't mind these. These aren't so bad. Nobody really. These aren't bad either. They're simple, just simple, but I want to do a spread that's just simple. So I got to come up with some more abstract ideas, and since I'm not so great with drawing people, I mean this account I was following, they did all their own art, and it was what I'd call just high contrast, but absolutely gorgeous, like really black white splash of color, so clean and so beautiful. Let me see if they're in here. Let me see. They should be. They'd be like the last person. MiracleSaga.com. There he is. How come I never see him on my feed anymore? Look at this. Look at this. It's beautiful. He also put his face on his... I might have to do that. When was this posted? 6 weeks. Okay, so he hasn't been on recently. But he seems to be moving on to YouTube. I mean, can you blame him? Look at this! Look at this! Look at this. I'm sorry, this composition is freaking beautiful. Look at it. Tell me that's not eye-catching and gorgeous. I mean, he did this on his own. I also love his follower count thing. Look at this! Look at this! This guy! You can't tell me this isn't just absolutely amazing. And look how Spartan it is, but how, you know, it's still eye-catching. Look at this. I'm like just showing off this other person's stuff. Look at that. Just look. I guess 6 weeks is why I haven't seen him in a while. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Are you okay? All right, good. Look at this. Oh, this is nice. I mean, you get the idea. I'm not going to show this guy's entire Instagram feed because you should go and look at it yourself because it's really quite beautiful. And he's not linking to his. Maybe the links for the series are in his. No. Oh, so he's really pushed over to the YouTube department. That's cool. Also, I believe his profile picture was previously something to do with the Miracle Saga, but you know, that's actually not a bad idea. I sometimes put my face on things. I'm not entirely up on that or interested in doing that because it's just, um, you know, weird for me. But he does well. I don't think those are. I don't. Those are not purchased because look at his odds, his response, his reactions. Those are people legitimately following him, and I believe that. So I think the rule is like a tenth of your followers will engage. So yeah, he's doing pretty good. He averages around 100. So this is the account that I actually idolized, and this is the account that inspired me to do this mess. And the problem is, you saw his colors, right? Beautiful, black and white, very clean, very clean. And my color's purple, so this. Well, not this. This I did. And then I did this. It's just imagery. There's no content in it. It did okay, considering it's just a spread. This is the first time I put, like, chapter quotes in it. Everybody likes this. This is, like, the most favorite graphic, everybody's favorite graphic that I've ever freaking made, and I hate it. I think it looks so blurry and crap. See, it looks all distorted and shit. It's not even really black. But every time I post this, so many people are like, oh, that's so cool. I love the way it looks. This was fun. I liked this, too. Did really well. What did I put in here? Liking your page. Keep it up, Vector. This did well just because it was inspirational bullshit, so you know how that is. I don't even know who that person is. Weird. Very strange. A lot of stuff that kind of like went under my radar. I think the key here is I've omitted using Lovecraft. And I'm not doing my own artwork anymore. So I'm not using vector artwork or vector drawing. Also, that's really hard to read. Also, this is from the original run. Oh my god, that makes me so nostalgic. And here's a video of me printing it out. Here's a video. One. I meant to do more of these of me editing. And then I went silent. And then I came back in May. I didn't miss the anniversary. It was May. I thought it was March. Good. That means I can still do something. Everybody uses this background, I've noticed. And that's a Canva stock background. So I think what I'm getting from this is these are stock. And everybody can tell they're stock. You can tell they're stock. And stock doesn't do nearly as well as drawing it yourself. My big thing is that I want to keep doing the working on the YouTube, the streams that I've gotten completely off topic with. And yeah, there's plenty of time in the day, I suppose. I just have to get back to being creative in that way. Because if you go back in my YouTube history, the first 2 videos on this channel are just completely... I'm going to just put art in quotes because they're creative works, I guess, is what I'd call them. The first one is my friend reading the original About section on the site, on the old site. And the second is this video I made of the introduction to the story. The first few lines of the Riftworks, entering the Riftworks. And I can't think of another scene to do like that, really. But it took a lot of time, and everything that's worth doing takes a lot of time. And I guess I really have to do is decide where my time needs to be allocated. Because obviously, according to at least Instagram, putting more work in and taking more time had a much higher payoff than using stock imagery and putting quotes around it. And yeah, that is stock imagery. I'm not entirely proud of it. My view and opinion was just as long as I kept posting. I couldn't always be 100% creative all the time. And the thing is, actually, I'm kind of going to realize I do have some stock imagery already ready to go that I could start posting on the Cataxians. And you know what? It's on my old computer. I can see if I can boot that thing up and get it off. I think that would be worth doing. So if you want to tune into social media, at the Cataxians, Twitter, Instagram, there is a Facebook page. I highly don't think you're not gonna talk to me there. You're not gonna get a hold of me there. It exists because I was told it should exist, but I don't like Facebook personally at all. I'm actually contemplating closing my Facebook, but I have a lot of friends who use Messenger, and it's just incredibly convenient to use. So there's that. And I think now we've gotten far enough off topic. So my name's Tav. This has been almost half of chapter 6 of half of chapter 6 of the Cataxians, and we'll be back. I want to say tomorrow. I'm not going to promise tomorrow, but we'll be back later in the week to complete it, and then we will mosey on along. Thanks for watching. Later. I can't find the mute button.